Hey friend, before watching, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps with promotion. Thanks in advance. The early morning began with curses, swearing, and grumbling. A noteworthy trip to visit relatives was ending tragically. Not only had they partied all night like it was their last day on Earth, but in the morning, the car decided to show its rotten teeth and refused to start. Sleep-deprived and angry, the two brothers, Zhenya and Vova, left the house where no one else had woken up yet after the wild party. Some people had even disappeared somewhere. They started trying to figure out what to do with the car. It was just after 4 in the morning. A gray sky, fog, coolness and moisture hung in the air. Even the livestock in the barns preferred to sleep in such quiet, foggy and windless weather. The forest, which was within walking distance, didn't even rustle a branch. Everything remained silent except for the two brothers who were feeling sick. And Vova, to top it all off, had bought this piece of junk. "You stinking bucket, what do you want? What's your problem now? I replaced everything. How do you manage to fucking break down just sitting by the fence? Now I have to walk home hungover." Then Vova let out a low groan from behind the wheel, turning the key again and again, but the starter showed no signs of life. The whole car showed no signs of life. "Volodya, get out. Looks like we're walking. Maybe we can get Uncle Misha or Valerka to give us a push. Half the house is passed out in corners and on the floor. We could pool our brains and experience. Maybe we'll get it started." "Yeah, right. You know what they'll say when you try to wake them, especially Uncle Misha. Best case scenario, you'll just wake him up. He went to bed an hour ago. Actually, he didn't go to bed, he just passed out." "I don't think that's a good idea, and even if he wakes up, he'll tell you to get lost. He won't be capable of conscious actions for a while, let alone tinkering with a car. So I have to walk home feeling like this. I even checked the car, got everything ready beforehand for a comfortable ride, and now this. Listen. Maybe someone broke the car while we were drinking and partying." "What, you think so?" "Unlikely," Zhenya replied, exhaling a stream of smoke. "It looked like someone was either sleeping or doing something else in every bush around here. I doubt anyone would have risked coming near the house." "Oh, that's why. So no guard dogs. All right, get out. Let's go before I die. When I'm moving, I feel a little better." Vova got out of the car and disappeared into the house. 10 minutes later, he reappeared, holding a flask and a bottle. "When did this morning drinking get a fancy name like Hair the Dog?" "Call it what you want." Vovo took a swig from the bottle. "Give it here." Zhenya also took a couple of gulps, hoping it would make him feel better. The night had been absolutely wild. "I don't think I can feel my pinkies. I got so wasted yesterday, I could barely stand. If we get home by evening or maybe even by night, that'll be something. And you know, I really don't want to walk through our little forest, especially from this side in the evening. You know, the whole Vokrug da Okolo thing. Now that you mention it, I'm getting creeped out," Zhenya said, lost in thought about this phenomenon. Vokrug da Okolo, the roundabout, is a different kind of story. It's not about being afraid of getting lost or partying too hard in the woods. This place is full of legends, werewolves, ancient settlements, beautiful views of rivers and forests. It's all here, and there's no shortage of people wanting to see UFOs. They say strange lights are often seen flying in the sky here. The only problem is, we locals have never seen any lights. The nature here is truly picturesque, and the region has many historical and cultural sites. A lot has happened on this land, but even more remains shrouded in a fog of secrets. As locals, we're not too fond of the forest and the ravines that surround our villages like tentacles. Especially the three ravines, located about 300 meters from our village, which have an amusing size. Even during the day, we never go into the three ravines for any reason. We always walk around them in a wide arc. If you go down there, who knows how it might end for you? Maybe nothing will happen, but more likely, something will. They say there was an old, ancient burial ground there once, and those who dwell there don't particularly like it when someone tramples over their graves. As proof that someone is indeed buried there, I've seen it with my own eyes. A piece of a skull lying in the grass. It's an ordinary, unremarkable place. If you wander in unknowingly, you'll feel a chill down there, even on the hottest day, as if you've stepped into a cellar. The air shimmers, trembling from something unseen. And those who have been there spoke of the smell of damp cellar earth. In those ravines, it seems light, and you can see everything, but you feel terrible. A strange, inexplicable fear takes over. You climb out and think it's all over, that the villagers are just fools who made up a fairy tale for tourists. But no, usually when people come out of there, it's only the beginning. The person gets sick, then delirious, talking about strange people, about how the ravines are calling to them, that they live there and have always been there, and we just didn't see them. And everyone who has walked in those ravines warns those around them with the same words. Don't go there. There's nothing but death. Of course, not everyone who went in died. Some experienced nothing. But everyone noted the strangeness of being there. On what principle this anomaly worked, how it decided whom to kill, whom to spare, and whom to scare, is unclear. But we didn't risk it. We didn't go. Worse than walking through the three ravines was sleeping there. Some experienced tourists came once, self-proclaimed tough guys, and after hearing the stories decided they were cool enough to spend a night in the ravine. That sense of safety is deceptive. After all, the nearest house is 300 meters away. If you start screaming, they'll hear you. But in reality, it's a lie. No one will hear you. Because the ravine, as they used to say, was part of a trail where evil spirits and the dead walked. So they set up camp in the ravine, and that was it. That was it. To this day, a sleeping bag still lies on the slope. Where those people are is unclear, but you don't need a fortune teller to know they didn't make it out. They decided to play tough, and the three ravines punished them. And that bright orange sleeping bag will lie on the slope for years, a reminder of the group that disappeared in the night and the silence. Sometimes, on dark holidays, a fog gathers in those ravines, and in the fog, shadows walk. Whether of people or something else, it's hard to say. Something glows from the bottom, and it seems like some voices can be heard, but if you listen closely, it's quiet. An old woman named Mariana used to say that a thin, delicate hand would reach out of the fog and beckon you to come down, but I don't believe her. But I will say, the fog is real. I was walking along the slope myself, avoiding the ravines, and saw them filled with fog as if in a pot. It was scorching hot all around, no rain for a long time, yet in these ravines the fog churned, a fog gate. Sometimes flashes of light appeared in the fog, shadows too, and the treacherous moon, as if playing with your nerves, would illuminate this fog, showing you that you are not alone here, that there is something in there.
Besides people, animals don't go into the ravines either. Or rather they do, but usually not on their own. Just try to lead livestock to the ravine. Even the meekest horse will throw its rider. A goat will start bleating and twitching, and calves will dig in their heels and moo. But sometimes an animal, as if bewitched, goes there on its own. That's how our goat Belka ended her life, right before my brother's and my eyes. She ran out of the yard and straight into the ravine. Of course, my brother and I ran to the edge and watched what would happen next. Nothing special. The foolish goat grazed on the grass at the bottom, then ran home by herself. She lived for 3 days. On the second day, she couldn't stand up. Pus flowed from her nostrils, and her hind legs started to rot. That was on the second day. We put on gloves, dragged her out, burned her, and buried her. Then we poured diesel fuel on top, so that even if the village dogs dug her up, they wouldn't eat her.
It was a shame about the goat, of course. She'd been with us for so many years. But Father said that the 3 ravines can't exist without blood, and it had just taken its due. Now things would be a little quieter and easier. Lately, the sensitive people in the village had been going crazy, saying that for the past few days they felt a pull towards those ravines. But the 3 ravines are not dangerous generally if you don't go into them. But the Vokrug da Okolo phenomenon, that's a different story. Even though we're locals, thank all the gods, we've never encountered it. Maybe this phenomenon affects locals less. Maybe it's because there are always tourists coming here to photograph our beautiful scenery. Judging by their own accounts, they often hear about or encounter this phenomenon themselves. But there are also reliable accounts from our local people who manage to survive these encounters and get away with just a scare. Vokrug da Okolo is named so because of its peculiar nature. But when you encounter it, you'll understand for yourself that it is indeed around and about. One of our local old-timers who lived through it told this story. It was 1987. I was heading through the forest with empty milk cans. I had just finished up at my cousin's place, had a drink with him, and set off. I was feeling good, riding along cheerfully in the evening. But I thought to myself, by the time I get there with these damn cans, it'll be night. And I have things to do at home and work tomorrow. I need to hurry up. I can't be doing chores at night or relying on my wife. No hope there. So I spurred my horse and turned off the main road onto a less traveled track. It was shorter, a whole 4 kilometers shorter. But the forest there was denser and scarier. The branches covered the sky so much that it was twilight, even on the clearest day. I'm riding through this forest. I turn on my lantern, shining it ahead, occasionally glancing around. You know how it is. All sorts of things come to mind when you're alone in the forest. And the stories about people disappearing aren't exactly encouraging. I'd heard about a truck driver who was driving through around 2 in the morning, and everything seemed fine. I'm riding, getting scared, thinking, damn it, you idiot, why did you turn? You wanted to save time, but you only made it worse. Look how dark it is. It's night already, and here it's like a grave, and the silence is unnatural. Only occasionally something rustles in the woods, a branch falls, a bush moves, an owl hoots, or some night bird flies overhead. My horse is also restless, nervous, barely moving. It's darker than night. I sometimes shine my light around to see what's going on, but it only makes things worse. You shine the light to the sides, and the yellow beam snatches bushes, fallen leaves, and the road out of the darkness. But around the light, the darkness gets thicker, more impenetrable. I've been riding like this for about 20 minutes, and I realize that someone is walking Vokrug da Okolo, around and about, steps all around, many of them. I whistle, but there's no one, just the rustling, and in the same spot, scurrying sounds. They are walking, weaving through the shadows like ghosts, not letting me go, and I understand that my horse and I are in for a difficult night. I started to think, trying to remember what to do when Vokrug da Okolo finds you. Maybe 10 minutes passed, and I rode out of the forest into the open. A wide river shimmered silvery in the moonlight, and its soft light permeated everything. In the distance, a plain and the stench of a swamp from that direction. Anyone else would have been happy, would have admired all this, would have said, "Hooray, I'm lucky. Vokrug da Okolo let me go." But I knew we have no such places here. No river, no swamps, no plains. And the sky? I don't recognize the sky. It's not ours. And the trees are small, crooked, gnarled, ugly. One word, a cursed place. And there are rocks here and there. But I knew that Vokrug da Okolo would soon show itself, and I wasn't wrong. It was sitting by a fire on the side of the road in the form of an old man. The road from the forest didn't end. It led along the edge somewhere down to the river, and this old man was the only person there, pretending to be one. I knew a meeting was inevitable because the footsteps hadn't disappeared. They were still walking around me, stomping, shaking the bushes as if herding me towards him. So what could I do? I rode towards him to pay my respects, calming my horse. I rode up to him, stopped opposite, dismounted, and looked at the old man by the fire. "Greetings, lost soul." "Sit," he says, gesturing for me to join him. "I've gotten a little lost, Father," I said with a tremor in my voice, listening to the rustling in all the bushes, which was very close. "I'm lost and I want to find a way home. Can you tell me?" "Are you a local or a visitor?" "I'm a local, and so is my horse." "Well then, we can try to help you." "We can, but I'm hungry. And so are my children. You hear that? You think they're just rustling for fun? No, it's hunger. Hunger is a cruel master. You can't reason with it. Do you have any food with you?" "Yes, I have some cheese my cousin's wife gave me, and some chicken, and about a quarter loaf of bread with some eggs." "Give it here." So I went to the cart, gathered everything I had, down to the last crumb, and gave it to the old man who was sitting by the fire, though for some reason I couldn't make out what he looked like. It was like a blur in front of my eyes, but I knew he was an old man. He threw everything I gave him down the ravine from the road. There was a scuffle down there, then a sharp crack, and it became quiet. "They are satisfied. My children have eaten. And who are you yourself, and where are you heading?" "I was delivering milk from the collective farm, had a couple of cans to drop off, and visited my cousin. Had a drink with him. Now I'm hurrying home, livestock and all. Kids are waiting at home." "My children waited for me once too," the old man said grimly. "And you know, it was a strange thing. I had killed a wild boar here in these forests, a big one. I was walking back, and I walked and walked and walked and walked again, and I just couldn't get there. You understand? I'm walking, and all around me is the forest and nothing else. No animals, no birds, no water, nothing. Just the forest and fallen bushes. I kept walking. The children are waiting, and I'm walking, walking. Then came the night, dark, icy. I walked through it.
Hunger presses down. I want to eat. I ate the boar myself long ago. I've been walking for so long, I've lost count of how many days. And all night, and cold, in the forest.
My heart skipped a beat once when, in the absolute darkness, I heard my children screaming, eating each other in the hut. I walk around and about, hearing everything. I call to them, but they just crackle with bones, gnawing on them, crackling in unbearable hunger, cold and darkness. They waited for their daddy too, but he never came back. So I wander, and they, mute, wander too. All around and about, we search in the dark, wanting to eat. But you gave us food. To get out of the darkness, you need to know the answer to the question, where is the light? Think about it. If you answer, go. Go your way. The darkness doesn't hold those who know and see where to go. But if you don't answer, we will eat you. Why let good food go to waste in the darkness? Look around. Kilometers, tens, hundreds of kilometers around, not a single hut, not a single person. Although the fires were recently extinguished, not a single light in the windows, although there is a settlement. So, traveler, do you know where the light is? Think, take your time. What's the rush when death is walking around and about? Oh, I fell into deep thought. At first, I thought of showing him my lantern, saying, the light is here, but then there's the moon hanging fat in the sky. That's also light. I understood that the question was deeper and broader than just, where is the light? And I understood that I had to answer in a way that could not be disputed, refuted, or denied. It couldn't be twisted. Well, peasant, give your answer. My youngest is calling. He wants to eat, the voice, whose owner I still couldn't see, said around me. Answer. The light is where the sun rises. The being thought for a moment and was silent for maybe half a minute. You know, I thought you would say the light is here by the fire or in your lantern, but in a way, the light is always where the sun rises. There is no sun here. There is only what is. It seems to be light, but it's also dark. It's hard even to exist here, let alone live. But you are right, peasant. Therefore, go. I release you. Go in peace. Go down this road, and at the first turn, turn left into the forest, and you will find happiness. Now go in peace. And that's what I did. I jumped onto the cart and spurred the horse. I decided to look back on the road. No one. The rustling around had truly stopped, and it felt like it had become easier. I reached the first turn, turned left, and saw rays of light in the distance. Come on, don't let me down, I started urging the horse, which also wanted to live, and understood perfectly well that we needed to hurry. After 1.5 kilometers, we burst out, you won't believe it, from a dark, creepy night into a bright and very hot day. And we found ourselves right on the edge of the forest on the main road. And my house, there it is, 300 meters away, and I'm home. I spurred the horse towards the house, and as I rode through the village, I couldn't understand why everyone was crossing themselves when they saw me. I burst into the house shouting, "Wife, I'm home! You won't believe what I saw!" And she fainted. I look at my children and something's not right with them. They've grown up quite a bit, and they were the ones who told me the story. "Father, you've been gone for 2 years." My wife and her cousin talked about how they saw me off, everything just as I told you. They said they saw you ride into the forest on the main road, and then you were gone for 2 years. We and others had already buried you. Your mother at first thought you were stuck at a friend's place or with some woman. Then they started searching, but couldn't find you. Where were you, Father, for 2 years?
So that's the Vokrug da Okolo phenomenon, Zhenya thought, walking through the forest with his brother. Oh, and that girl, Lyudka, from Astrakhan. What a beauty. When I saw her yesterday, my God, she was a dream. So what are you waiting for? When you go back for the car tomorrow, stop by her place and grab her with both hands. If only it were that simple, I would have. She's a city girl. And look at me. What's wrong with you? Well, we're not rich, that's what. A decent woman doesn't look at things like that. She loves with her heart, and you measure everything in money, Zhenya replied to his brother as they walked through the foggy forest. And if she does look at that, then you don't need a woman like that. You'll find a good one. Yeah, but she's so beautiful. So what? How many beautiful women are there? Besides, remember what Dad used to say? What did he say? That for girls, it's easier at the beginning, but not later. They need to get everything sorted out quickly, while we can do it whenever. What does he know? Well, he's lived a lot longer than you, so he probably knows something. By the way, he might give you an earful about the car. He wanted to go see Valerka today to make a deal about the bull. Now he'll have to call. The car, as you can see, isn't working. Stop! Look! What's that? The two brothers froze. They saw a body on the road. A person was lying across the road. It was clear they were dead. The air was filled with an unbearable stench of rot. The person lay face down in a bright yellow jacket, clutching something in their hand. Coming closer, they realized it was a voice recorder. Phew, what a stench, said Vova. Don't say that, Zhenya said, covering his face with his hand. Overcoming his disgust and squeamishness, he lifted the body and dragged it off the road. It wasn't right for a person to lie like that, even if they were dead. He was still a person. They dragged him over and leaned him against a tree, trying to see if they knew him. But he was a stranger. Let's go to the village quickly. We need to report this. Yeah, but to which one? We shouldn't go back. The main thing is to report it, not lose our minds. God, that smell. Oh, hey, look. Vova picked up a small, compact voice recorder. Those are his things. Don't touch them. Come on, Zhenya, it's a voice recorder. It was clenched in his hand. We can't just leave it here. Why not? What if it rains? The device will be damaged. It's evidence. We should take it with us. I'm not suggesting we steal it. I'm suggesting we preserve it. And maybe listen to it. Listen to it? Why not? We're walking anyway, and we have a lot of questions. Where did he come from? Maybe it's like that Vokrug da Okolo thing. Remember what Vasya said? Maybe, but I think we can find out the truth if we listen to what's on here, Vova said, poking the digital recorder with his finger. We'll return it. We'll keep it safe and give it to your relatives, Vova said quite seriously to the dead man, explaining why they were taking his things. Jokes are jokes, but it's better not to mess with things like this. The consequences could be something you'll regret, and in the best-case scenario, the dead man will only punish you. We'll return it to your relatives, Vova repeated. And they walked on, but faster now, chain smoking and drinking to the memory of the unknown tourist. Half an hour later,
When they had finished the bottle and Vulva had figured out the controls, he played the recording, which began with the unknown tourist's story. I am recording this audio diary just in case of anything. I am alone. My colleagues decided to abandon me. From today, I am working alone, and of course I will go into this wilderness alone too, on a private commission for purely scientific and educational purposes. My name is Nikolai Vilianov. I am a professional tourist, let's call it that. A tourist photographer, author of many popular articles on the internet, which is how I make my living. I will record my observations concerning this strange, remote place here, and try not to go insane. Fucking assholes abandoned me. Day 1. I have arrived. I finally made it to the local forests on an ATV, or rather to the village of Nizhnaya Lesnaya. I didn't like the village. It has a very oppressive atmosphere. Only old men and women live here, and a very small number of young people. I talked with the youth. They turned out to be friendly and curious. Despite the gloom and poverty here, the people are pleasant, and they kindly offered me a place to stay for the night without even asking for payment. Their stories mostly boiled down to tales of simple life, how they live, where to get money, and when the mice last ate the grain from the barn. To my questions about where exactly they see UFOs and unexplained lights, they just waved their hands, saying I was striving in vain because, in their opinion, the world is much more frightening and complex than some little green men. They told me that people often disappear here. Disappear not because of other people or animals or maybe carelessness, but as if they just vanish. They talked about a fog that abducts travelers, about strange caves that appear and disappear, about how you can get lost even in your own kitchen, unable to find the door. They shared warnings. They want me to leave, but the person who sponsored my trip is not waiting for stories, but for some facts and photographs. He is convinced that the truth is being hidden from us and wants to understand everything for himself, but is not ready to go himself. As for me, I'm only too happy to. I grew to like the locals. They are genuinely good people. But I did manage to get at least a direction and a side to which I need to move. They told me and marked it on a paper map with the words, "Don't even think about relying on electronics here." And that evening turned from informative to simply a cultural one. Day 2. I took a wild guess on the map, and it seems to be roughly the right area. But again, with my accuracy, oh well. In any case, I am on a road, which means sooner or later I will meet someone. Although the feeling of strangeness and abnormality of what is happening does not leave me. In the entire day, I have not met a single living soul, neither human nor animal, not even birds. The ATV with its trailer is of course a noisy and calming thing with its roar. But, alas, I would like to meet people. And again, according to the assurances of the residents of that village, I should reach a settlement called Verkhnaya by this road, a former logging settlement from where they used to float timber down the river, process it, and transport it on a once existing railway. I have seen neither a railway nor any signs of it. I see nothing at all except this forest. The one good thing is that the weather is dry and windless. I was lucky that there was no mud or hard-to-reach places. I am driving calmly and comfortably. So far, there is no real work to do. I can take some pictures of the views and landscapes with my drone, which, by the way, also sees nothing but forest for tens of kilometers around. And again, why be discouraged? There are tracks from a vehicle. People drive here. And that is encouraging. Day 2, evening. I swear I'm not alone here. I have something to treat my dear guests with, namely a Saiga shotgun,
I am ready to kill anyone, God damn it, anyone in this thicket, but I haven't seen anyone. Only feelings, emotions, and eyes. I shone my flashlight into the depths of the forest, and several strange, let's call them that, eyes reflected in the light, glowed in the darkness for a while, and then went out. I don't know what it is. I've been to many places and seen many things, but I don't feel any particular danger here yet. But the fact that something is walking Vokrug da Okolo me is unnerving. I know this place is strange, anomalous. I've read, heard, and I know, and I am mentally prepared for strangeness. But if anyone or anything approaches me or tries to attack, I'm ready to return the money, but I'm getting out of here. For now, it's just feelings and emotions. Nothing has happened. But now I need to figure out how to sleep and preferably not leave the road at all. At the moment, I've started a fire in the hope of meeting a traveler. Please, let just one person pass by. Dinner and delicious tea are on me. Please, just one living soul appear.
Day 3, afternoon. The night passed peacefully, to my surprise. I got a good night's sleep, checked my equipment and its condition, and after breakfast calmly drove on. Until noon, I slowly drove along the well-traveled road, which scared me because who made these tracks if I hadn't seen anyone in 2 days? By afternoon, I reached a village, but not the one I was expecting, apparently, because there was no river or sawmill nearby. It was completely abandoned and deserted. Weeds stood tall like stakes, and the dirt road ended right at the entrance. The crooked huts were leaning, but it was already getting dark, and I needed to set up camp somehow. Fortunately, with my equipment, that's not a problem. I sent the drone up to look around before it got dark, and I didn't like what I saw. Around me, only forest without end. Forest, forest, and more forest. I think I'm slowly going crazy and seeing things that aren't there. I'm starting to worry more often. This place is starting to get to me.
It helps me not to go completely crazy.
As for the forest, tomorrow until noon, I will continue my journey. If I don't find the village they promised me, I will return using the tracker and my memory. After all, I haven't left the road, and I feel that I can leave calmly. But something is hiding in the forest. I feel it watching me. I fired into the air, listening to the echo, and hoping that maybe someone would respond or also fire a shot. But alas, I need to set up camp. Night of the same day. I am lying on my sleeping bag, and I hear them. Footsteps, small, quick footsteps of little feet. They are people without a doubt. Children, but why are they sneaking? Why are they silent? At night, in the silence. I lie here, hugging my saiga, and think about what to do. Is anyone there? I shout. And the footsteps around me fall silent. Hey, who's there? I turn on my powerful headlamp, whose deathly pale beam cuts through the darkness for hundreds of meters around. No one. No one. Only darkness, fallen leaves, cold. Why did it get so cold? It's unclear. Are you here? I feel you. Show yourselves. I shoot at a suspicious shadow, but it's just a shadow. Silence. No one answers. I understand that tonight is special. I have to do something about it. I have to get out of here. That's not a problem. Moving at night doesn't bring relief or joy. The powerful headlights only confirm that there is nothing here. It's sterile. The animals, where are they? Maybe they were eaten by those footsteps? Who could be hiding behind those quiet, stealthy steps? Who, damn it all, I reasoned, looking ahead and to the sides. Fortunately, there were no problems with lighting. As soon as something changes, I'll tell you. Damn it! The navigation system, which could probably work at the bottom of the Mariana Trench or in the Bermuda Triangle, informed me that no satellites were found. How the hell are they not found? They are floating above us, hundreds of tons of iron. What does not found mean? I looked up at the sky. The moon had come out, but this is impossible. My watch showed 4 a.m. What is happening? Why is the sky starry, dark blue, dark and cold? Okay, no time to despair. I sent the drone into the sky, which then scared me. Ahead of me was a village, a large one. I looked at the display and couldn't understand what kind of village it was and why it was like that. How did I even get here? I was following the road, a dirt road, well-traveled. How did I end up here? What village? I don't understand. I can shit my pants. I can do whatever. I don't understand. I don't understand anything. The moon, the stars at 4 a.m., the loss of navigation satellites. I'm going to record on the voice recorder more often. I think I've entered a bad space. Another place. And the rustling. The rustling has become more distinct, but less frequent. Something is happening. I want to go to that strange and eerie village, although I understand that it is most likely dead, because there is not a single lit window there. I reach the village. I don't understand what's wrong with it. On one hand, it seems abandoned, but on the other, quite alive. There are no overgrown weeds, no signs of desolation. I drove into it and am now moving along a classic log house structure. I can see engineering, communications. There was definitely electricity here, or maybe there still is. But where are the people? And why is it so quiet? I went up to a house and knocked. It seemed to me that something rustled inside the house. Someone is in the house. I don't know why, but I'm afraid of whoever is in there. I need to get my Saiga ready. I have to defend myself. I don't understand anything anymore. The front door opened and a man stood before me, overgrown, frightened, and in a raincoat. "Get out of here before you bring trouble. You make too much noise. Leave before they eat you." I don't understand where I am. Help me. "There will be no help. Leave," he answered me and pointed a shotgun at me. The moon illuminated its double barrels. I realized he wasn't joking, turned around and went back to my ATV. I decided to really leave the village. Driving a considerable distance away, I heard a heart-rending scream from the village and realized that my new would-be acquaintance was likely dead. I calmly drove along the dirt road that ran alongside the forest. The clock showed 8 a.m. The moon was at its zenith, so to speak. The stars were large. It smelled of dampness and was suspiciously quiet. The forest ended, and I am driving on a surface as flat as a frying pan, illuminated by the moon. I'm scared to be here, in this world. In the short time I've been here, I've understood one thing. It's always like this here. I didn't know for sure, but I was certain of it. The moon. It didn't move a micron in the sky.
It wasn't our moon, but another one, bigger, larger, like the pale face of a dead beauty, or the eye of a rabid beast, casting its gaze upon the earth. It was quiet here, simply quiet to the point of ringing in my ears. The sound of the engine seemed very loud, hellishly loud. And the headlights, I turned them off. I was already afraid that I stood out too much, and with the headlights, I was visible to the whole district. Despite the quiet behavior of everything around, I understood one thing. There are living people here. They are just hiding and being quiet. You can't see or hear them, but there is something in this world. This something is watching me very attentively, observing, and might attack. Apparently, this thing has devoured everything in this world, and only a few remnants are left here hiding. I'm not crying, it's just tears. The flat and so pleasant surface of this plateau, or whatever it is, was as deceptive as a fucking swamp. It came on suddenly as if there was a clear border. There was no damp earth or mud, just suddenly everything. Under a layer of grass that was camouflaged as earth was liquid mud, or rather dirty water. All I managed to do was grab my backpack and my favorite trusty voice recorder. My faithful steed, the ATV, gurgled pitifully and sank in half a minute, so deep that you couldn't pull it out with 2 tractors, and the deceitful grass closed over it again, deceiving the traveler who doesn't know of its treachery. What should I do? I need to go back. I can't go forward. It could be worse ahead. At least back there, I know what awaits me, I thought. And I saw that behind me, right in the spot where I had just driven, someone was burning. I was defenseless. Essentially, my Saiga sank with the trailer. All these electronic toys were absolutely useless. No satellites, no communication, nothing. I was left alone with this world. But there's nothing to be done. I have to walk. I broke down. I listened to a strange old man who I asked him to help me. He was spouting some nonsense about how I should show him where the light is. I pointed to the moon and asked, "And what is this, not light, respected sir? Help me. Where am I? Can you help me? Please help me." To which he said he would punish me and disappeared, along with the fire. And I found myself sitting alone in the moonlight on this plateau. I will never get out of here. After that, my brother and I mostly listened to the man's groans and howls about how cold it was here, that there were no sunrises or sunsets, only the ever-pale moon staring down at him from the sky. Even the rustling sounds that had pursued and frightened him had disappeared somewhere, and he was left alone in the deafening silence, lost in time. He spoke of the cold, and with the cold it entered his soul and his depths. He talked about how he found strange, abandoned, dark villages where there was no one. Everything was dead and quiet. At night he would jump up from dreams of someone shining headlights or calling him. He screamed. He was afraid. He talked about how he had lost track of time, and he only distinguished day from night because his smartwatch showed the time and date. Could one rely on the time and date in such a strange and eerie place? Probably not, he said himself. There was plenty of water in this world, but no food. He talked about how he rationed it, about how it was all hopeless. In every village he found it was the same as the last, nothing to eat. Once, walking through another dead village at night, he sees on the edge of the moonlight a man in a raincoat and 5 children. He yells at them, waves, asks them to come closer, but after blinking, they disappear like a mirage. There was nothing in this world. You couldn't survive in this world. You couldn't grow anything. No light. Any attempt to grow something was doomed to fail. No sun, no weather, just cold, around 10 to 15 degrees Celsius, damp and humid. But the sky was very beautiful, saturated. Everything was a bit fairy tale-like and unreal, although that's what it was, unreal. Later, his recordings descended into delirium. He began to rave from hunger and hopelessness. He started to lose his mind and talk about having a knife, that he would be able to use it when the time came. By his calculations, he had spent about 2 weeks there, drinking slush and eating dry, bitter grass and bark. The necessary and basic things he could have obtained in this world were unavailable there. He once tried to light a fire, but because of the constant freezing cold and dampness, lighting anything was a problem. Even burning down a house in the village didn't work. Losing his mind, he decided that was enough. He couldn't take it anymore, and did the last thing he could in that world.